The dude behind the original Sour Diesel is making an epic return to New York City, his old stomping grounds, to bring the OG designer strain back to the light in the era of legal weed. The New York cannabis legend Joe Murray, affectionately known around the city as Asshole Joe, a legend of cannabis cultivation, came up in a time when weed was really illegal and was still able to come up with the clone-only strain that was to change how we looked at cannabis to this day. He started out dealing at the Wetlands, a jam band club in New York City that was known for debuting the best weed around before anyone else had it, and pretty soon he found himself getting involved in the cultivating side of things, which he had a knack for. In fact, by '94, when the journey of Sour Diesel began, he was the guy Snoop Dogg called when he was in New York to hook him up with his favorite bud at the time, RBK. In '94, his Chem 91 strain got crossed with a Sensimilla strain he had picked up and became the precursor to the original Diesel. And by '95, '96, he had the genetics worked out that would finally grace the world as the official Sour Diesel. But after a break-in his apartment, and after his friend got his head bashed in trying to collect money for selling his marijuana, and after everyone was beating down his door to try to get their hands on his new Sticky Icky, he moved upstate to fine-tune the sour he would become famous for. He was notoriously hard to get a hold of, and this is when people started calling him Asshole Joe. Where the hell is Asshole Joe? He came back to New York City in '98 and started growing with a vengeance in grow houses all over the place, but it still wasn't enough, and he was harder to reach than ever. Someone broke in again, stole a bunch of clones, and that's when Sour Diesel really started spilling out into the world beyond NYC, and the cat finally got out of the bag. Now back then, Diesel was going for up to $15,000 a pound, and it's estimated Murray made over 10 mil off it. But today, Murray, the godfather of designer weed, is trying to find a home in the legal market. He's been hired to run grows in Colorado and California, but it never worked out. Asshole Joe was just too big of an asshole, screaming idiot and moron at everybody he works with. I'm a little rough around the edges, he says, because I was used to dealing with gangsters and mobsters. But Murray signed a deal with the New York-based grower Flower House, and he's finally got back in his hometown of New York to grow his Sour Diesel strain legally for the first time. Growing up in New York, Sour Diesel was always something you looked for. It was that mythical legend, a strain by New Yorkers, for New Yorkers. And Joe was pumped. I never thought this day would come. I wish it was 20 years ago, but I can't complain now that I see her in all her glory, growing in full sun and in greenhouses where she can truly thrive.